Hello everyone, welcome to Barca News. It is May 21st, 2023, and Barcelona are making Joshua Kimmich their #1 priority for the pivot position. Also, it's reported that Ilkay Gundogan could be slipping away from the grasps of the club. And finally, Ansu Fati has officially rejected that offer to join the Premier League side, Wolverhampton. We have a lot to discuss, so let's begin. Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. My name is Mo, and before we begin with the news, just a quick reminder that May 25th will be Barca News' first year anniversary, and in order to commemorate that event and show you all the appreciation that I have for all the support that this channel has been getting since its inception, I will be raffling not one, not two, but 3 Barcelona jerseys. And in order for you to participate in this raffle, all you have to do is number 1, subscribe to the channel, and number 2, send an email with your name and address to the email address down below in the description. Now on May 25th, I will be picking a winner from these emails, or 3 winners from these emails, and since I already have your name and address, I will be able to send you the jersey directly to your address. Now I'll begin with the news that La Liga officially gave Barcelona La Liga trophy yesterday after the match against Real Sociedad, where Barcelona lost at home 1-2 in a really bad performance where once again Barcelona had a lot of problems in the final third where they couldn't finalize plays and where the defense did not do a good job and unfortunately left the backline exposed, and as a result Real Sociedad were able to score 2 goals. Now this match also had horrible refereeing where Real Sociedad's second goal should have been disallowed because of a clear foul on Frankie de Jong, and where Barcelona should have been awarded a penalty kick where Marcos Alonso was brought down in Real Sociedad's box. Now this loss is unfortunate because even though Barcelona have clinched La Liga title, it was unfortunate because there goes the hope of Ter Stegen of breaking the record for the least amount of goals conceded in the season, because the current record is 15 goals by Chelsea's former goalkeeper Peter Cech. And now Barcelona have conceded 15 goals, so even if Barcelona do not concede any goal until the end of the season, Ter Stegen is not going to be able to break that record. He's only going to be able to equal it. So we're going to have to see what the club will do. Maybe they'll end up putting Ter Stegen on the bench so he's able to retain the 15-goal record, which is the same as the former Chelsea goalkeeper. Now, luckily, Robert Lewandowski was able to score a goal, so he has added 1 more goal to his tally in that Pichichi race, where Lewandowski is sitting first right now with 22 goals, and where Karim Benzema is currently sitting in second place with 17 goals. Now, despite Barcelona's bad performance against Real Sociedad, the party was not completely ruined because Barcelona were handed the official La Liga trophy, and they were able to celebrate with everyone present in the stadium. And there was a little bit of a tribute to Sergio Busquets, who will be leaving the club at the end of the season. And this, of course, was not the official tribute or goodbye match for Sergio Busquets. That will happen on the final home match of the season, which will take place on May 28th against Mallorca. Now, during the match, we were able to see Zubimendi, who is Xavi's #1 option to replace Sergio Busquets in a pivot position. And I must say, he did have a pretty good match. But I honestly don't quite understand why Xavi's so obsessed with him, because even though I do think that Zubimendi is a good midfielder, I don't really think he's that high level or that very extremely impressive player that would be able to fill Sergio Busquets' shoes. Now, regardless whether Xavi would like the player or not, after the match, both his coach and Real Sociedad sporting director closed the door on the possibility of Barcelona signing him, because they made it very clear that Zubimendi is only thinking about staying at Real Sociedad because he wants to play the Champions League next season with his current club. Now, of course, we already knew that the player didn't want to leave Real Sociedad because, as reported several weeks ago or several months ago, Arsenal offered to pay his release clause during the winter transfer market. However, Subimendi rejected our offer, and he made it very clear that he's only thinking about continuing at Real Sociedad. Now, speaking of the pivot position, it's reported that Barcelona have now made Joshua Kimmich their #1 objective in order to replace Sergio Busquets. Now, as I reported many times before, Xabi's #1 option is, of course, Martin Subimendi, which I just mentioned a few seconds ago, with #2 being Sofiane Amrabat. And if Barcelona cannot get Subimendi, which is looking like they can't, not only because of the €60 million release clause, but because of the desire of the player to stay at Real Sociedad, then Barcelona's goal was to sign Sofiane Amrabat from Fiorentina. Well, it seems that Barcelona have now put Joshua Kimmich above Subimendi and Sofiane Amrabat, with making him their #1 objective to replace Busquets in that pivot position. And it seems that it wasn't Barcelona who were interested in Kimmich first. It was the player's entourage that offered the player to the club to begin with, and that's when Barcelona decided to make Joshua Kimmich their #1 objective. Now, as I've been reporting all these past few days, Bayern Munich have made it very clear that they're not interested in offloading Joshua Kimmich, whose contract expires with the Bundesliga club in 2025. And yesterday, Plattenberg, who's a reporter that's very close to Bayern Munich, probably the closest reporter to Bayern Munich, confirmed this news that the Bundesliga club have no interest in offloading Joshua Kimmich. And in fact, they're not even thinking about putting a price on him, because they want him to stay in the Bundesliga club at least until the end of his contract, which expires in 2025. Now, of course, this doesn't mean that this operation is completely impossible, because after all, Bayern Munich said the same thing about Robert Lewandowski, where they said that he was not up for sale and that they weren't going to put a price on him. So this operation is possible. However, it's looking highly, highly improbable, because Joshua Kimmich is a fundamental piece for the Bundesliga club. But nonetheless, despite Bayern Munich's position to not want to offload Joshua Kimmich, it looks like Barcelona are going to try to approach Bayern Munich and try to start some kind of dialogue as soon as they get the official green light from La Liga in regards to their feasibility plan. Now, speaking of midfielder, it looks like Ilkay Gundogan could end up slipping away from Barcelona's grasp. Now, Ilkay Gundogan's contract will expire at the end of the season with Manchester City, and he was adamant about not renewing his contract with the Premier League club. And as a result, Barcelona and the player entered into negotiations to try to bring Ilkay Gundogan to Barcelona next season. Now, it looks like the talks were very advanced between Barcelona and the player, with Xabi even making a personal call to the Turkish-German midfielder to try to convince him to lower his salary expectations, which the player did agree to, as I reported in a past video. But it seems that Manchester City, per Pep Guardiola's request, are adamant on renewing his contract, and they have now made him a higher contract offer than the previous one, which the player had rejected. Now, Pep Guardiola does not want to lose Ilkay Gundogan, because he considers him a fundamental piece of his team, and as a result, he's requested from Manchester City to do everything in their power to renew the contract of Ilkay Gundogan. And as a result, the Premier League club have sent Gundogan a new contract offer, and the player and his agent have agreed to sit down with the Premier League club and have a new round of talks these upcoming few days. Now, of course, in order to sign players, Barcelona are going to have to offload several players come this summer. And it seems that Xabi have chosen the first 3 players who will be offloaded during the summer transfer market. And those players are Ferran Torres, Frank Kessie, and Ansu Fati. Now, in the case of Ferran Torres, despite there being lots of reports saying that Barcelona might not want to offload him because his amortization, and if they do offload him, they would end up incurring a loss on their books. But it seems that Barcelona have decided to offload the player either way, because they consider that he does not have the level to be in Barcelona. Now, Barcelona are reportedly considering sending Ferran Torres on loan with an option to buy worth around 35 to 40 million euros. So we're going to have to see what club will be willing to take the Spanish attacker. Now, in regards to Frank Kessie, Barcelona think that they can make a good sell off the Ivorian midfielder, because he did arrive as a free agent. So his sale would be pure profit for the club. And the club also know that he has a really good value in the Serie A and in the Premier League. So Barcelona think that they can offload Frank Kessie for around 35 to 40 million euros. Now, in the case of Ansu Fati, it's reported that Barcelona think that they can get around 50 million or more for the La Masia graduate. and it seems that Ansu Fati has told Barcelona that he does not want to go to Wolverhampton and that he wants to stay in Barcelona. And even if he does have to leave the club, it's not going to be to the Premier League club, because he thinks that he could land in a higher level team. Now, Xabi is planning to meet with all three players and their entourages to communicate to them the decision of the club to offload them in the summer, and to try to convince them to help the club out by leaving this coming summer, because Barcelona need to offload players per that feasibility plan. Now, speaking of the feasibility plan, it's expected that Barcelona will get the official green light from La Liga on Monday. And part of this feasibility plan is not only to offload players, but also to increase the revenues of the club through the signing of new sponsorships. Now, I reported about the sponsor several times in the past few months, and it looks like Barcelona have decided on which sponsor will be on the sleeve of the Barcelona jersey. And that sponsor will be no other than the electronics conglomerate Philips. Now, Barcelona received offers from different companies from all around the world to be featured on the Barcelona jersey sleeve. And it seems that Barcelona have decided to move forward with Philips, who have agreed to pay 8 million euros the first season, 10 million euros for the second season, and 12 million euros for the third season. Now, there are some optional extra years in the contract, and if those years are met, then Barcelona would look to make a total of 50 to 60 million euros from Philips, which is of course great news for the club, because Barcelona need to increase their revenues, not just for the feasibility plan, but also to make up for the lost revenues next season that the club will suffer as a result from that move from the Spotify Cup now to the Olympic Stadium in Montjuic, which has half the capacity of the Spotify Cup now. Now, we will end today's video with the news that the Barcelona Vice President Rafa Yuste, in some remarks that he made during an interview he was having, confirmed what we already knew, and that is that Deco will be taking over the job of Jordi Cruyff, who will be leaving the club this summer. And therefore, Matteo Alemany and Deco will be working in that football director position, helping Barcelona sign and offload players. So that is it for today. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give me a like. Also, I would like to invite all of you to please leave a comment down below, giving me all your thoughts and opinions about all the news that I share with you. And finally, I would like to invite all of you to please subscribe to the channel so you can stay current on all the latest news in regards to our beloved club, FC Barcelona. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next video. And as always, Peace, Barça.